So Sweden has been going through this. Many European countries have had these issues, and I wanted to hear what somebody who is from these areas has to say. I think this is pretty interesting. So she says, I can't understand how everything has become so extreme. Common sense has just vanished. Sweden has taken in 2.5 million immigrants despite having a population of only 10 million. And that's fucking crazy. That's like, so the United States has a population of 340 million people, thereabouts. So yeah, man, that's like taking in 75 million immigrants in a very short period of time. That is crazy. She says, immigrants can be paid up to $4,000 monthly per family simply to exist. So they have these benefits to help out people that are coming in for migration reasons. Sometimes the reasons are because they're seeking asylum. Sometimes it's because there's a policy that allows a certain number of people to enter the country, to immigrate. And a lot of these people don't have degrees. They're not in the country. They don't understand, like, they haven't really had time to sit down here and be here and integrate here. And so it may be hard for them to get a job and find a house and do all these things. And so they give them money, they give them taxpayer money, which seems like a fine idea, right? That seems right for certain people who need that help. But when you have so many immigrants, right? It's like they say, it's all about moderation. When you have 25% of the population that is immigrants and has immigrated into the country in a very recent amount of time, like, it's just too much, too fast, too soon. And so she says, we let immigrants spread gang violence and shootings, bombs exploding on a regular basis, and we barely do anything to stop it. And the reason why they do this, by the way, is that there's this sort of concept of white guilt that some of these countries have. We have this issue as well in the United States, where there's this kind of perspective that white people, Europeans, and descendants of Europeans, they were very powerful. They were very powerful. They had a big technological advantage because Europe was a war-forged country, and war is the mother of invention. Necessity is the mother of invention. There's no bigger necessity than survival. Somebody's waging war on you, that's your survival at stake. And so a lot of technology got developed, a lot of innovation, and eventually Europeans outpaced a lot of the other parts of the world. And then from there, they were able to spread out and conquer. And so conquering is now seen as bad. It's bad to go in and like claim a land that is already claimed by other people. I don't really see it this way. Like, I think it's much more complex. Like, humans are always trying to take control of everything. This is like what we do. We're like beavers. Like, we show up, you put humans in a random island, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to claim everything. They're going to start cutting down all the trees. Trees are living. Hey, it is what it is. Trees are living things. Their plants are living. They're living beings, right? And we're just going to cut them down. We're going to make shelter. We're going to make bridges. We're going to make all sorts of stuff. And we're going to shape the environment around us to suit our benefit. This is what we do. We're like beavers. We're like fucking ants. We just build the shit out of everything. And, anything that gets in our way, well, we take care of the problem. And so naturally, we don't just do this to other animals, right? Like all those squirrels, all those, the rabbits, the bears that live in this environment prior to us getting there, they either leave, we force them to leave through deforestation and making the environment unlivable for them, or we kill them. That's what we do, right? And naturally, we're going to do the same thing to other people. If there's another foreign tribe there, guess what's going to happen? There's going to be a clash and a fight for resources. This is what we do. This is how humans work. It is a very natural thing. And I'm not saying it has to be something that everybody has to do or everybody has to tolerate or whatever. It is what it is, right? So I don't really see the whole like conquering argument. Like conquering is that's like literally all of history. Conquering that's happening right now. Like there's certain parts of the world right now that are at war trying to conquer each other. At the end of the day, it's just people saying, hey, look at that shiny thing over there. I want it. What's the number one way of getting things? It's using your power to threaten whoever has it or whoever's there or whatever. It's how we work. And these people have this white guilt, this feeling that, conquering was bad. Maybe conquering, and what's stupid about it is that conquering is bad. That's what everybody did. That's what Africans did. Yet You don't see white people. You don't see these Europeans going, oh, these Africans are bad because they conquered all this land. They don't do that. They don't say that shit. They only talk about themselves. It's only bad when they do it. This is where the idea of the white self-hate comes from. And, you know, frankly, I do feel bad for these people because it's like, come on, man. Like, Latinos don't think like that. Hispanic people don't think like that. You know, like black people don't think like that. Asians don't think like that. Like, you know, fucking Eskimos don't think like that. It's a stupid way of thinking because frankly, it's just not how history, it's not how the world works. But these people feel like that's how the world works. And they feel like it's bad. They feel like, you know, them conquering some of these areas was bad. And now they feel like they have to atone for it. And the way that they're atoning is by lending a helping hand to these people that are in these countries that are poor in the Middle East, that are poor in Africa, that are poor, well, not, you don't really see it much for Asia. I guess Asians don't count. I don't know why. But, you know, that are in these areas and shipping them over to, you know, Switzerland, to Sweden, and so on and so forth. And then you have these disasters. You know, it's like that one quote from Black Panther. You know, I'm sure it didn't originate there, but it's like you let foreigners in. These foreigners are going to bring their problems with them. And I'm not saying you can't have foreigners. It's fine to have foreigners. It's just that, like I said, everything in moderation. There's nothing moderate about mass migration. There's no balance. Nothing is balanced. Nothing is in the middle. Nothing mild about mass migration. But these people are doing it to themselves because they feel bad about shit that happened, you know, 200 years ago. It's like the sins of the father with them. It's like some original sin shit. You're born today. You have a Swedish boy that's born today, and somehow that boy is at fault for shit that happened, you know, hundreds of years before he was even conceived. It's silly. It's irrational. It's stupid. I don't think people should be thinking like that, but they do. And that's why they have the problems that they have. So those who get caught often serve only a few years, if any, in prison. And part of the reason why this is the case is because the police and the people who run the government feel like these people are minorities and they're special and they feel bad for them. And so when you're special, when you're this special protected class, you don't get treated like everybody else. You get special privileges, like not going to jail for as long, like not getting as harsher sentences when you're being sentenced by a judge, all this sort of stuff. And it leads to, in a search for equality, you get massive inequality because brown people are treated great and white native people are treated like shit. This is why this line of thinking is bad. This is why it's cancerous. And this is why it has to stop. This isn't some sort of justice that's happening. This is injustice. There's people that are dying, women that are suffering and being raped by people that have different views and different cultures and different ways of doing things. Maybe some of this behavior is, I don't know, less bad over there. I don't know. But it's certainly not okay here. And yet it's happening. And the only reason it's happening is because these people got imported, unvetted, unchecked, just mass immigration. And the sad thing about it is that if you look at the people that are coming in, if you look at them coming in these boats and these caravans or whatever, it's 90%, if not 100% males, military age men. It's not the children. It's not the woman who's all alone and like needs help or whatever. It's all able-bodied, you know, capable men. Isn't that telling? Isn't that crazy? If you're enjoying this video and you'd like to see bigger and better content, the only thing you need to do is hit subscribe and like, and I'll take care of the rest. So she says, our justice system is weak. If you commit murder and are under 18, which many gangs use minors to do, which is, I would say this is a pretty smart idea, to be honest. Hey, how do we minimize, how do we do some damage control in terms of like law enforcement? Oh, I know. Let's hire kids and let's have them do the bad stuff because those kids are then going to be able to get off scot-free. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, but it's happening. The punishment is almost non-existent. For adults, a sentence of 15 years is the average. 15 years for taking a life, and for rape, a few years at most. And they usually don't even get deported. This is what's crazy, right? Like, they don't even, like, if you're bringing somebody in here and the first thing they do is rape your women and kill, your people, maybe you need to be a little bit more, a little bit more strict. Maybe you need to get these people out of here. Right? Because I understand if like you bring people in and they're behaving, that's fine. That's okay, right? Like they're not raping people, they're not murdering people. All right. But this shit? Come on, man. You will not get justice for smaller crimes such as assault or fraud. The police cancel the investigation before it even starts, despite having all the evidence. The media focuses more on racism than on murders, and there's a reason why this is the case. They focus more on racism than on murders, bombings, and rapes committed by immigrants. First of all, the media is biased, right? There's nothing that rallies and gets people going more than racism. And it gets the views from both sides. You get immigrants that are watching, you get migrants that are watching these news over alleged racism, and you get also the natives, the white people, that will also watch for this so-called racism, right? It's something that's very effective, gets people very mad, and makes people pay attention to what's happening. So that's what the media does. The other side of it is that media companies tend to be run by people that are on the left. It's always been the case. Entertainment has generally been ran by the left. This isn't like a bad thing. This isn't like, oh, this is some sort of conspiracy like that, like the Illuminati is doing this. No, it just so happens that the people that are interested in, like, I don't know, working at a cable news place are the kinds of people that are more artsy, the kinds of people that are more, I would say liberal in their views. And they just happen to be more interested in those sort of careers. And you see this for all sorts of things. You see this with men and women. There are jobs that men just gravitate to. And they're like my yesterday's example, working on a farm, cleaning pig shit. 90% of pig shit cleaners are men. That's, is what we do. So, and then there are jobs that women gravitate to, like being a kindergarten teacher. It makes sense that a female human would be very interested in tending to children, considering that we are mammals and females are the ones that have babies. They're the ones that cook the babies in them. They're the ones who form a bond even before the baby's even born. They're the ones who were built to take care, to feed the baby over long periods of time. And so you have these maternal instincts that are built inside of females. And so it makes sense that given how females are wired, that they would like a job where they get to take care of children. It's the most natural thing in the world, right? The most natural thing in the world for guys is cleaning pig shit and lifting heavy shit. Lifting heavy shit like construction. And the most natural thing for women is taking care of kids. Like there's nothing bad about that. It just is what it is. They downplay the crimes committed by immigrants while highlighting crimes committed by white people to make immigrants seem like less of a problem. Again, the bias. The list goes on. It's total madness, and anyone who opposes this is labeled as right wing. Right, and you see, the problem is this isn't even that bad. It's not even right wing. It's when they say far right. Because the far right, like the way that you think about far right in terms of European politics, it's like fascism. It's like Hitler. So you're basically, when they call somebody far right, they're calling them Hitler. Like it's a power word. It's like calling somebody a Nazi. It's like calling somebody racist. It's like calling somebody homophobic. It's this big, basically, think of the Salem witch trials. It's basically accusing somebody of being a witch in the Salem witch trials. Of course they're going to do it. It's super effective. Whenever people get called this stuff, they immediately just recede and they're like, oh, no, I'm not that. I'm not a witch, because they don't want to get ostracized. So they do this stuff because it works. But at the end of the day, this stuff needs to end. And the only way it's going to end is if people, you see this strategy here where the media calls people racist, where the media attacks the natives, where, the politicians don't do anything about crime if it's done by illegals and migrants. This shit has to change because this is effective. The media calling people racist is effective. It makes people not want to do things because they don't want to be seen as racist, right? And so the way that you beat this is by making sure that the strategy that they're employing does not work. That when somebody calls you racist, that you can dismantle that, right? And not recede, not run away, not be all like, oh no, never mind, I take it back. Not hide away. You stand up for yourself and you say, no, that's not true. And I'll explain why. And you keep going, right? You keep pushing, you keep advocating for a better future in your own land. This is just what has to be done. And until people start attacking this, until people stop falling prey to this kind of shit, we're gonna see this happen over and over. You need to get people to rally, and they have to rally, and they have to peacefully. They have to, peacefully protest. They have to let their voices be known before they become outnumbered. Because once they become outnumbered, it's over. And for the love of God, like this is my very genuine advice to people in Europe who agree with people like Evelina or Evelina. For the love of God, reproduce. Make love and reproduce. Because you are getting outcompeted. You are getting out reproduced. And it's the future. The future is migrant. Not European, not Swedish. It's migrant. It's wherever these people come from, right? That's the future in your country, because you guys are fading away. You're getting old. You're not reproducing, and your population is cratering. So something has to give. Now's the time to stand up for yourselves. Stand up now, or never stand up at all, because you're not going to have another chance. Natives should have total power and control over their homeland and decide what to do with it. Oh my God, yes. Natives should have total control over their land and decide what to do with it. Oh, actually, the reason Africa and the Middle East are so screwed up is because the colonial powers drew borders with zero consideration of ethnic groups and cultures, and that's why there's so much conflict. So mixing multiple ethnic groups and cultures causes conflict. What? No. This is what I'm saying. White people have a simple choice to make: be conquered, enslaved, raped, and genocided while being called racist, or reclaim our nation's indignity while being called racist. Stand up for yourselves. Don't just yield and say, oh, okay, I'm actually not racist. I totally agree with what you say now.
Subscribe and like.